If you shaved every hair off a gorilla, then threw it onto the African savanna, it would not survive a week. Think about what that means. A gorilla, one of the strongest animals on Earth, a creature that can tear a tree apart with its hands, gone in 7 days simply because it lost its coat. Hair is never just for warmth. It is a shield. It blocks deadly sunlight. It keeps blood-sucking insects away. It stops parasites from reaching the skin. It works like armor when animals fight, or when they push through thorns. And most importantly, it hides the body. So, in nature, losing hair looks foolish. It looks almost suicidal. Almost no land-living primate would do this. But a few million years ago, our ancestors did exactly that. They stripped themselves bare. They gave up nature's perfect armor. They walked naked into a world full of teeth, claws, heat, cold, and hunger. Which raises a question that should bother you. What kind of force was so powerful that it made a species take off its own armor and never put it back? Humans have always answered this question with too much pride. We like to say, because we were smart. Some say we lost hair because we invented clothing. It sounds reasonable. It sounds like something a clever species would do. But the evidence is cruel to that idea. Humans may have lost most of their body hair around 1.2 million years ago. The evidence for regular clothing may go back only about 170,000 years. That is not a small gap. That is nearly 1 million years of naked existence. Naked in cold rain. Naked under burning sun. Naked in the open, with nothing between skin and the world. For almost 1 million years we had no coat and no replacement. Some say we survived because we learned to use fire. Still wrong. Fire cannot protect your skin at noon. Fire cannot follow you across the plains while you hunt. Fire is shelter. Fire is not skin. Some say we lost hair to escape fleas, lice, and other parasites. But if the only problem was insects, nature had many safer answers. Longer claws, better grooming, stronger skin oils, different smells. There was no reason to risk sun damage. No reason to risk freezing at night. No reason to throw away the whole coat just to escape a few parasites. Each of these answers has one thing in common. They make us feel like we were in control. Like we made a smart choice, a calculated trade, a civilized upgrade. But that is not what happened. We did not lose our hair because we chose to. We lost it because we were pushed. The real turning point was not intelligence. It was climate. A few million years ago, Africa became drier. The forests that had sheltered our ancestors for millions of years began to shrink. Trees died, shade disappeared, fruit became harder to find. The world our ancestors understood started closing down around them. To survive, they had to leave. They stepped out of the trees and into a new world, the African savanna. Open, exposed, merciless. There was little shade. There was endless sun. Food did not hang above your head anymore. You had to find it, chase it, fight for it. And the animals that already lived there were faster, stronger, better armed. Some could run 3 times faster than us. Some could run 5 times faster. Some had teeth designed for exactly this landscape. On the savanna, speed meant life. But speed has a cost that is easy to miss. Heat. Look at the great hunters of the plains. The cheetah is the fastest land animal on Earth. It can reach over 100 kilometers per hour. And yet, the cheetah is also one of the most fragile hunters alive. Not because of its bones, not because of its size, because of its fur. Hair is a blanket. It holds heat in. After a short sprint, a cheetah's body temperature climbs dangerously. If it misses the catch, it cannot immediately try again. It must stop. It must find shade. It must breathe. It must wait for its own body to cool down before it can function again. The lion is no different. At noon, the king of beasts lies still and pants in the shade. Not because it is lazy, because it has no choice. The fur that protects it from cold traps it in heat. The great predators of the savanna had a blind spot. Morning, evening, those were their hours. But at noon, when the sun was highest and the heat was most brutal, the hunters rested, and our ancestors, slow and hungry and weaponless, noticed. They could not win a sprint. They could not win a fight, they had nothing. But they saw the gap, so they made the strangest trade in the history of life. They gave up armor, they gained cooling, they threw away the coat, and in its place, across their skin, they grew something almost invisible but extraordinary. Sweat glands, not a few, not a modest number, millions, 2 million, 3 million, up to 5 million tiny openings spread across the body, each one capable of releasing heat the moment the body needed it. Most mammals cool themselves by panting. The tongue, the breath, the halt. They must stop to cool. We did not stop. Our skin became a cooling engine. Sweat rose to the surface and evaporated. Heat left the body continuously, even while moving. The naked body was not a weakness. Under the midday sun, it was the most efficient cooling system on the savanna, and that changed everything. When the noon sun drove the cheetah into the shade, we moved. When the lion lay panting and still, we moved. When the antelope slowed under the heat, we moved. This was the birth of something that no other predator had ever developed, something that sounds almost too simple to be real. Persistence hunting. We were not fast. We did not have to be. We chose an animal. We followed it. The animal saw us and ran easily. It disappeared into the distance. Any other predator would have given up. We kept walking. After a while, the animal stopped in shade. Its body temperature was too high. It needed to cool down. It breathed. It waited. It thought the danger had passed. Then the naked figures appeared again on the horizon. The animal ran again, faster this time from fear. But fear costs heat. Its fur trapped every degree. It stopped again, sides heaving, body burning. And the humans kept coming, slowly, silently, steadily, moving through the noon heat like it meant nothing, sweating as they walked, carrying the heat out through their skin and releasing it into the air. Again, and again, and again. No roar, no ambush, no speed, only tracking. Only patience, only the slow, inevitable narrowing of distance. After hours, sometimes after half a day, the animal simply fell. Not killed by teeth, not killed by claws, not always even killed by a weapon. Some accounts from modern persistence hunters describe prey animals that collapsed while still standing, overwhelmed by heat before a single blow was struck. They died because their bodies failed them. They died of heat. They died because something kept coming that would not stop and could not be outrun. To other animals, this must have seemed like something unnatural, not a predator. Something worse, something that did not chase the way a predator chases, that did not give up the way a predator gives up, that followed like a shadow through the brightest, most punishing hours of the day. We turned bare skin into a hunting weapon. We turned patience into death. It sounds like a victory story, and in one sense it is. But evolution never gives free gifts. Every advantage is a trade. Every strength builds a new vulnerability somewhere else. Hairless skin made us lethal under the sun. When night came, it almost killed us. The savanna does not stay warm. Temperatures can drop sharply after dark, and the same body that shed heat so efficiently during the day now had nothing to hold warmth in. No thick fur, no natural insulation, no camouflage to hide us in darkness. The animal that ran down prey at noon could die from wind chill by midnight, and the night hunters were awake. By any ordinary measure, a species this exposed should not have survived, too vulnerable in the cold, too visible in the dark, too fragile on both ends of the same day. But something happened, something that turned the weakness into a different kind of force. Because our bodies became so exposed, our minds were forced to compensate. To survive cold nights without fur, we had to understand fire, not stumble onto it, understand it, control it, carry it, feed it, pass the knowledge of it from person to person across generations. To survive seasons where fire was not enough, we had to take the coats from other animals. We had to kill them, process their skins, and wear what we could no longer grow ourselves. That required tools, sharper tools than before, tools made with intention. And one person alone was still not enough. A single, naked body in the dark was too easy to lose, too easy to freeze. too easy to find. So we gathered. We slept near each other. We took turns watching. We shared warmth the only way left to us, with other bodies, with other lives. That closeness forced something deeper than survival. It forced trust. It forced communication. Not just signals, not just calls, but the slow development of something more precise, something that could carry a plan, a warning, a memory across time. Language. Do you see the shape of it now? We did not become intelligent and then build civilization. We became fragile and then had no other option. Our tools were not a sign of our greatness. They were a response to our exposure. Our language was not a gift. It was a necessity. Our cooperation was not a choice we made from strength. It was the only thing standing between us and extinction on a cold savanna night. Because we lost our shell, we had to build a world to replace it. Today, we sit in climate-controlled rooms. We wear soft, engineered fabric. We move between heated and cooled spaces without thinking about it. We have built systems so effective that most of us will never feel what our ancestors felt on those open plains. And somewhere in that comfort, we have started to believe something dangerous. That we have risen above nature. That we are its masters. That the fragility is behind us. But it is not behind us. A few million years ago, we made a desperate gamble. We lost the armor we were born with. Then, under the pressure of cold and dark and fear, we built something to replace it. We called it civilization. We called it technology. We called it progress. It works. It has worked for a long time. But what if it fails? What if the power disappears? What if the systems that grow and move our food collapse? What if the climate shifts faster than our infrastructure can follow? What if the world becomes hotter in the day and colder at night, more violent in its weather, less predictable in its seasons? Strip away the machines, strip away the walls, strip away the fabric and the heating and the networks, and underneath all of it, we are still the same animal, hairless, naked, exposed to a world we did not design and cannot fully control. Brilliant, yes. Adaptable, yes. Capable of things no other creature has ever done. But fragile, not the peak of nature, not the final form of life on Earth, not masters of anything, really. Just survivors. Survivors who got very good at building shelter, and who should probably never forget what they are hiding from.